Happy welcome. Welcome to Ageless Vitality and learning all about what it takes to be a woman who ages with strength and vitality over the long run. Now, we all know as women that our lives are jam-packed. Not only do we have to care for ourselves, but we have family and friends and lovers and businesses and bosses and colleagues, you name it. But we tend to surround ourselves with all of those perfect connections that make us who we are. And the feminine approach to life is one of creation. Right, we create beautiful humans if we ever become mothers, but we also create connection. And through this journey of ageless vitality, the goal for us is to really create a strong connection with ourselves, with who we are as a woman, as we transition through the stages and phases of our life's journey. We go as a young child into puberty, then we become young women, and then some of us, you know, uh, transition into motherhood. And that whole, I've been reflecting on all the stages of my own life so far, that transition into motherhood, and the pregnancy and the changes that come with our bodies and our well-being and how we feel. And then the post-pregnancy and the changes that come with our bodies and how we feel. And then stepping into perimenopause or menopause and the changes that come with our bodies and how we feel, um, and how we care for our loved ones as we age and they age. And then moving into retirement and the changes that happen in our lives and in our bodies as we step into retirement and beyond. And we have these three phases as women. We have the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Yeah, I love the last one, the crone. And these three phases are three phases of our lives where we go from this juicy, sappy, full of life maiden, curious and wondering about the world, and developing our relationship to ourselves, to the mother, where we take on this role of creation, creating a family, creating a home, creating safety and a network and a community and friendships, for the people around us. And then we step into the wise woman. Yeah, where we transition out of those other two phases. And it's interesting to reflect that as we step into the wise woman, we move out of the maiden into the mother. Both of those journeys are exciting transitions. Yeah. We're excited about, well, I don't know about everybody, but we're excited about getting our first period and the changing body. And, I know I struggled with coming to terms with my changing body, and a lot of women do, but the changing body. And then we get excited about the phase of motherhood or the phase of creating a wonderful and amazing career for ourselves and our ability to make things. And then there's this interesting thing that happens. You kind of hit 35 or 40, and the next transition isn't so exciting. You know, there's dread and there's like, oh, all of the things that are going to change that I have to let go of, um, that we don't always necessarily want to let go of. So this ageless vitality coaching is about making this final transition from motherhood to the crone to the wise woman an exciting one. Making the transition where you still feel like an empowered, strong, and confident woman. Because I know my clients tell me that they lose their confidence. They hit menopause and they're not confident anymore. Or they hit their 40s and that radiance of being the maiden and the mother and the beauty that inherently, men just love women, and they'll look at a young woman or they'll look at a woman in her 30s and then we stop being seen. We become invisible. But this is the time where you step into a transition of really owning who you are and coming to know who you are. This is the time where you don't need to lose your confidence. This is the time where you can step even better into better levels of confidence and grace and share the wisdom that you've gained through this journey, because this is the time where we pay back. We turn around to the woman coming behind us and we say it's okay. Motherhood is okay. Even if you don't get much sleep. um and your body will be okay. And I know, people are giving up on shifting the weight, and that maybe shouldn't be the focus when you hit the wise woman phase of your life. But you still want to be vital. You still want to be vibrant. You still want to be doing the things that you've always done. And I know a lot of women hit this transitional period of their lives and they start to lose their confidence and lose their desire to do those adventurous things that they may once have done. So, as we embark on this journey of ageless vitality, of connecting to ourselves deeper, because this is what this transition is really asking us to do. As we transition into the wise woman, we're transitioning into knowing ourselves. The years that have been before, um, we were giving so much of ourselves and creating beautiful, loving connections and containers and families and homes and villages and businesses and teams at work. And now it's time for us to turn within and say, well, what does this phase of life look like for me as the wise woman? As the woman who wants to age with grace, with strength, with vitality. And so often, this period of transition in the perimenopause and into the menopause, while it can feel challenging, um, it brings its own gifts. And this ageless vitality, we will explore science, we will explore Ayurveda, we'll explore yoga, we'll explore aspects of the change from sleeping to embodied nourishment to physical activity and what serves you best in as your own constitution, but also understanding from an Ayurveda perspective the phase of life and what that means as we move into the wise woman we move into a vata phase of life. So the young maiden is kapha. She's full of juice and rasa and life and love, and you see that the young children, they're just delicious, right? And they can go and go and go and go. And then the mother is the pitta, she's the fire, she's the dynamism, she's holding it together, the charisma, like she's making things happen. And then we move into the vata, the wise woman. But the vata transitions also a transition into a deeper connection to ourselves and a deeper connection to something far greater than ourselves. Yeah. We've been in service all our lives and now we come into a greater service. And the service starts with serving ourselves. So as we embark on this journey, there's two things that we really need you to understand. Now, the first one is radical self-responsibility. Yeah. Um, things are changing, but you still get to decide how things change. You still get to decide how things turn out for you. And you are responsible for the outcomes that you desire in your life. So you have to embrace this radical self-responsibility. What do you want? Why do you want it? Why do you want it? Again, let's really get clear. What do you want? Why do you want it? And then how are you going to get there? And the radical responsibility is that piece about learning to really care for yourself in this transition on a whole new level. On a whole new level. Ageless vitality is about coming home to yourself first on a whole new level, but you have to take responsibility for how you look after yourself, how you show up for yourself, the foods that you eat, the people that you spend your time with, the books that you read, the physical activity you undergo, the sunshine that you take in, the rest that you give yourself, the actions that you take on a daily basis that will move you towards living out the rest of your life as this wise woman who can, with grace, give back. And then we have, on the other hand, this radical self compassion. Because any transition, I teach yoga, transitions are the most important part of the pose as you move from pose A to pose B. But they're also the part where people get hurt. Yeah. The most. Yeah. So self compassion. How do you care for yourself and look after yourself and let go of any tendency to beat yourself up or judge yourself or say that there's something wrong or think that this transition in some way is bad or you're bad or that life circumstances are bad, but how can you just give yourself a break and listen to the wisdom of your own body, which in this Ageless Vitality coaching, you will do a lot of listening to your own body. You will learn to connect to your own body on a deeper way than you've ever connected with it before. Because from a tantric perspective, and this is the basis of our whole school here at Yoga to Transform, from a tantric perspective, your body is the doorway. And your body is the doorway to you living your highest potential, but also the greatest experience of the life that you've been given. And doesn't matter what's happened the last 35 years or 55 years, you can always now turn that around. So we come home to our bodies, which from a tantric perspective, the body is the divine. The body, there's nothing outside of you that you need to find. So we listen. What does your body need? And how do you nourish and look after yourself? And for some of us, we hit this stage of life in our 30s and our 40s, maybe it's the 50s or the 60s, where we realize we've never come home to ourselves. We've never embraced fully who we are at the core of our being. We've never felt at home in this magnificent vessel that we've been given that enables us to see and hear and smell and taste and feel the world and be of it. So there's this compassion. You will be supported to come home to yourself as we journey through these months together as ageless vitality vixens. Taking the transitions of life, whatever transition you may be in, because heck, I started this journey of ageless vitality in my 20s because I'd been ill and I was so miserable and so disengaged from my body that, for me, I had to start early. So I started the journey in my 20s, and that was a wise decision because I'm now 20 something years older and fitter, stronger, healthier, and more vital than I've ever been. And I keep getting better. Um, so the earlier you start in this ageless vitality, the better, but it doesn't matter when you start. It's never too late. It's never too late to take radical responsibility for your health and your well-being and your experience of life. And it's never too late to really learn to be compassionate towards yourself and love yourself on a level and come home to yourself. And when you come home to yourself, you create this an energy around you where people feel safe to come home to you. And then, as the wise woman, you can give your gifts to the world, whatever they may be, whatever gifts you may have already shared before. There may be stories inside of you, or songs inside of you, or words of wisdom or love. I don't know. And maybe you don't know either. But ageless vitality is about learning all the science, learning the wisdom of the sages of yoga and Ayurveda, and applying that to your own life in the way that suits you best, learning about who you are. And if you haven't signed up for one of our Empower Your Health Journey programs, we really, really recommend that you do, because that starts the ball rolling of coming to understand your unique constitution. And when you know your unique constitution, that's when you can really transform your life, because you're not looking at the world through a generic lens of this could apply to anyone, but you're looking at it through a lens of this is who I was born to be. And these are the gifts that come with that. And this is where I'm out of balance. And this is how I bring myself back into balance. And this is the medicine that I need to give myself right now. And when I say medicine, I'm not talking about prescription medicine that you get from your doctor, but the medicine that could be as simple as getting a massage or lying down for an hour, listening to a yoga nidra, or taking a break from social media for a month. Who knows? Who knows what your medicine will be? But through this journey of Ageless Vitality, where we support you with love and compassion, but also responsibility to really take this transition into the wise woman with an open-hearted step, letting go of any fear, letting go of any judgment or criticism, letting go of what Western medicine tells us menopause should be like for women, because menopause, the way that we experience it as Western women, is unique to the Western culture. Asian cultures, Indian cultures, they look at us and they're like, whoa, what are y'all doing over there? So pleased that you're joining us with love, compassion, and I look forward to seeing you every month in our Ageless Vitality coaching so that you can deepen the connection to yourself and come home to who you really are and step into the wise woman and the gifts that you have to offer the world fully. Namaste.